So I've never told anyone this before, but I think it's a great example of how an eating disorder can really skew with your brain and your well-being, and why intolerances are really common with eating disorders. Okay, so when I was in high school, I started having some GI issues. My stomach would hurt, I'd feel bloated, probably because I snacked on raw veggies all day. But it was different, so I brought it up with my doctor and mentioned that celiac disease runs in my family and I wanted to be tested. And this is where it gets a little uncomfortable because deep down, I secretly hoped that I would test positive, that I would have a legitimate reason to cut a whole bunch of foods out of my diet. It would be an excuse to say no to desserts and unhealthy foods that commonly have gluten at social events, so I could restrict and nobody would question me. Mind you, this runs in my family. I see how hard it is to have celiac disease, but my disordered thoughts around food said, you want this too, so you have an excuse to diet for the rest of your life. And sometimes it goes as far as tricking you into thinking you actually do have an intolerance. Because with disordered eating, GI issues are really common. I could have said, I think I'm gluten intolerant, or that dairy bothers me, just to have an excuse to diet. And this is so common in the world of eating disorders and disordered eating. And this is where dieting gets really dangerous and detrimental to our physical and our mental health, because we see all these things online that gluten's the devil and dairy's horrible for you. And this messaging gets all skewed up in our brain, so we start thinking, oh, maybe that's me. So if you have experienced thoughts like this while struggling with your relationship with food, you are not alone.